JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 8th of December 2020. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's afternoon session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, just to see how everything's kind of getting along today. But yeah, before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yep, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top, guys. So now then, jumping into the charts, quick update on what's happening here with the German index. The index is still hanging in there, although it's trading slightly in the red today, but remains above this 13,213 territory that I kept talking about. So for now, basically not going to spend too much time on this, but I'm going to say that the same analysis remains, the one as from this morning. So in order to aim for some lower areas, I need to see a drop through this upside line and a drop below the 21-day EMA. In order to consider the upside, I need to see a push above the 13,347 territory, and then we could consider some higher levels. So basically, like I said, the same analysis remains, the one that I've talked a lot about in the past couple of days. So yeah, let's see where this one is going to end up going to. Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now, yesterday the index drifted lower, of course. Beautiful move here away from the upper side of the rising wedge pattern. Of course, as you understand, these patterns tend to break to the downside according to all the TA rules. However, until we get that violation of the lower side of the rising wedge, we cannot really talk about any kind of downside. Of course, looking at the cash index, we can see that the price is right now drifting lower a little bit. It's back below the 30,000 mark. So basically, it's below the psychological 30,000 territory, and this way, kind of, it raises concerns in the bull block. However, still, as I said, keep your eyes on this lower side of the rising wedge, because if it once again provides support, we could see a nice beautiful rebound and a push back to the upside. So again, keep that in mind. Now jumping into DXY, another index, but this one is a dollar index, and you can see that the price is struggling with that 90.93 territory. So in other words, again, the same story as this morning, as what I've mentioned this morning, guys, that in order to consider the downside, although we are still trading below this downside line taken from the high of the 4th of November, we would still prefer to see a drop below the 90.59 territory right here. In terms of the upside, I would need to see a break of this downside line and a push above the 91.75 territory in order to get excited with the upside. Jumping into silver. Now, silver is enjoying the moment, and as you can see, I haven't looked at silver for quite a while now, so basically let me just update this chart a little bit. In the short run, you can see that, yes, silver continues to climb higher. It's trading above all of its EMAs so far here on the daily chart. So that's kind of bringing a bit of positivity. And after kind of it reversed to the upside from its excuse me, 200-day EMA here. It had a nice move higher here. It's, like I said, it's trading back above all of its EMA, so everything's kind of looking quite positive. However, if you want to be a little bit more on the careful side, keep your eyes on this 25.07 territory marked by the high of the 16th of November. A nice good pop above it may open the door towards the highest point of November, which is around the 26 mark. So again, a bunch of good levels to keep an eye on. If you're, like I said, if you're not really comfortable right now, then yep, you could keep an eye on this, like I said, this 25.07 territory. If that gets broken, then this increases the chances for silver to move towards that highest point of November near the 26 mark. In terms of the downside, well, I would prefer to wait for a drop below the 23.52 territory right here, because at the same time, I mean, you can see that this level was seen as a good area of resistance here on the 25th and 26th of November, and also was acting as a good area of support back on the 2nd and the 7th of December. So in other words, guys, for now, it's leaning a little bit more. We're leaning a little bit more to the upside. However, if this suddenly reverses sharply to the downside and drops below the 23.52 territory here, this would also place the price below the 100-day EMA, and well, we could then aim for that 200-day EMA once again. But for now, all eyes are on the 25.07 territory. Ethereum is drifting lower. Of course, everything's fine here. But what we could now, the big question here is, will this upside line taken from the low of the 3rd of November, will it provide decent support? So far we can see that yes, it's doing that. Now the big question here is, can we get a nice rebound from it? Because if we can, then all eyes are on this hurdle again, this key resistance area near the 623.47 mark. And then yeah, we could take it from there, because at the moment, I mean, if we do get a nice rebound from this upside line, then well, basically we could class this pattern as a possible ascending triangle. And of course, according to all the TA rules, you know that these tend to break to the upside. But again, all eyes right now are on this upside line. If this upside line gets broken and we see the rate, the price falling below the 555.70 territory here, well, I mean, this could turn out to be a little bit more ugly for a few more buyers, and more sellers could start joining in. NZD CAD. So this pair is at a very, very interesting spot right now. So this is the highest point of July of this year, and you can see that yes, we did have a few moves below it, but today and yesterday especially, the pair managed to climb back above it and stay above this hurdle. Today, although we had a bit of a slide here, again, still the rate traveled higher. However, on the negative side, the rate still remains below the 21-day EMA, guys. So although it's hanging above this 0.90, this highest point of July, the 0.9011 territory, still it's below that 21-day EMA. So that's what's kind of raising concern here. So how we could do here, what we should do here probably is, if you want to aim for some upside, well, wait for a push at least above the yesterday's high, which is around the 0.9045 mark. A nice good push above it may increase its chances, the pair's chances, to drift higher. But if it doesn't, well, I mean, again, keep your eyes on this 0.9011 territory. If we get the daily candle remaining below this hurdle again, well, I mean, lower levels could be met, especially if we see a drop below yesterday's low, which is around the 0.8987 mark. So be very careful around here, guys. And I'm gonna take a bit of a neutral stand right now, although there is a chance for this one to drift lower. Some confirmation breaks here, and these are the two levels that I talked about. That's what we are looking here for in order to kind of consider the next short-term directional move. USD JPY, now this one's a little bit of a messy one here, and to be honest, slightly annoying at the same time. And let me just adjust a few levels here, especially on the upside. So basically on the upside, I looked at this level here previously. Now what I'm going to be looking at here is this 104.76 mark. If we get a nice pop above it, then we could consider higher levels, but yeah, still there was this downside line to overcome. So in other words, if you want to look at some higher levels, guys, on this one, well, if you want it or not, if you like it or not, still we need to see a push above that downside line. We need to see a violation of that downside line. So again, be very careful for now. In terms of the downside, it's pretty straightforward as well. A drop below the 103.65 territory could do the trick for more sellers, so be very careful here, guys, for now. And yep, continue observing these two areas, basically on the upside the downside line, and on the downside the 103.65 territory right here, which recently, as you can see, acted as a very nice area of support. Jumping into GBP USD, guys, here. So the pair drifted lower initially today, but yeah, the bulls stepped in, and of course the positive news coming out of Europe today, and then in UK as well, surrounding Brexit, that would help the pound kind of push back to the upside. So that's the reason, guys, why I was saying that if you want to aim for some lower areas, wait for that break and a daily close, or not a daily close, but a daily candle staying below the 1.3287. So we see that we had a perfect test of this 1.3287, and the pair kind of reversed back up. So it's again it's to be honest, at the moment it's neither game, neither the bulls nor the bears. It's just kind of moving up and down. But if, let's say, we do get a drop below and we do get the daily candle staying below the 1.3287 territory, now that's where it could become a little bit more interesting for more sellers. So keep your eyes on that one. In terms of the upside, I would need to see this one pushing above the 1.34 territory, and then yep, we could aim for some higher levels. Euro JPY, so this one is quite interesting, an interesting one. So basically it seems like it's flagging out now. It seems like it's forming a possible bullish flag here, but if so, it still doesn't matter. We would still need to see a nice good push above the 126.46 level right here, marked by the high of the 10th of September. Ideally, I would like to see that daily candle remaining above this area as well, in order to, like I said, get comfortable with higher levels and aim for that highest point of September near the 127.07 level. For now, it's a bit of a waiting game, I would say. In terms of the downside, well, I mean, we would need to see maybe a drop somewhere below the 125.16 zone in order to consider maybe a move towards this upside line. But again, if we do get a strong reversal back down, I'll reevaluate this one again. I'll have a look at what's happening here, and maybe we'll I'll consider maybe some of these lower levels. But let's see how this is going to play out. For now, it's looking a little bit more on the positive side. However, to kind of be a little bit more happy with that positivity, I would still need to see a nice good push above this 126.46 level. Ideally, a daily candle staying above this area could increase the chances for this pair to move higher. And finally, EURUSD. So this one is reversing to the upside. So great news for the bulls. However, again, we remain very careful. If you want to aim for some higher levels, well, wait for that 1.2155 territory breakout. Again, because don't get me wrong, we did have a few breakouts already, but that's basically that level is the lowest point of March of 2018. So the lowest point of March of 2018 is now acting as a very good area of resistance. So if you want to aim for some higher levels, wait for a nice good pop above that. At the moment, I'm going to take a bit of a neutral stand here, and I'm going to continue observing the price action, of course. But if suddenly this reverses sharply to the downside, well, I mean, Be very careful, because then we could go for a bit of a larger correction to the downside. So guys, I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope you found it useful. If you want to catch my video tomorrow morning, as always, my Traders Espresso, that's 7 o'clock GMT time. For now, guys, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful trading evening, if you're still trading, of course. But in general, everybody have a nice evening, and try to relax and come back fresh tomorrow. Don't overtrade, guys. And because there's always tomorrow. So have a wonderful evening, everyone, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.